What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here to make some predictions, and I'm going to be predicting who is going to be the next champion, the person that beats the current champion in every single UFC division, flyweight up to blobweight, the heavyweight division. I'm going to be talking about why I think these guys are going to be the ones to beat them, what's going to happen in the rest of the division, why the matchup I think works out for them. And some of these I think are pretty consensus. Most people would agree with me. And some of them I think you're going to think I'm fucking insane. But trust me, bro, I believe all of them. All right, dude, let's get into this. Starting off with the man that ruined my career, Alexandre Pantoja. I work so hard for this bedtime. Don't make me lose, bro. I'm going to say that Alexandre Pantoja is going to lose the belt to Tatsuro Taira, okay? I don't even want to let loose my Taira impression. I only let the Taira impression loose when I'm off the Henny, you know what I'm saying? When I'm in the club and a couple beers deep, that's when I let go of the I'm happy to go, like full blast. But right now, I'm not doing it. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to beat Pantoja, bro. I think he's going to get a title shot. He's going to beat Royval. And I think this is the kid to do it because, like, I feel like he has a little bit more power in the hands than Pantoja. And I think his boxing has improved enough to do well. But in reality, it's the fact that he's such a high-level grappler. And I feel like Pantoja is either going to plot armor his way through every single person. Like, he's going to go full Drickus mode where it doesn't matter how good Taira is in the grappling, even though it seems like he's just such a high-level fighter. And Pantoja just smudges him. Or he's going to finally run into somebody that can actually just figure out his shit. And I feel like Taira is going to be that guy. I think youth is the biggest factor I'm putting here. It's not somebody that he has a win over. It's not somebody that he really thinks highly of, or that he has this huge challenge in front of him the way that it was with Moreno or Royval. I think the Urseg fight, you can say that some of it was kind of the notice and the fact that nobody really knew anything about Urseg that made it so difficult. I think Kai Kara France is an interesting matchup, but he gets his back taken in every single fight where the people try to grapple with him. So I think Pantoja is going to get Kai Kara France's back and probably submit him or win a dominant decision in the grappling. I think Taira, the thing that makes him so dangerous to Pantoja is he doesn't sit still. Like he will scramble well the way that Urseg was able to, except when he gets on top, he's actually confident and competent primarily as a grappler. I think Urseg being a striker, it's going to be really hard to dominantly try to finish a guy with a chin like Pantoja. Whereas Taira, if he scrambles well, he can end up on top and use control time, use submission attempts, tire out Pantoja in his own realm. And if that goes well for him, I think he's going to win the fight. So my pick at flyweight as the next champion is going to be Tatsuro Taira. I think he's going to be a huge star in the flyweight division, which is not a real thing, but if there ever was going to be one, I think we found him right here in Taira. And it sucks because I really think Makayev would have fluked it. I'm not going to lie, dude. If Makayev was not flipping burgers right now at fucking KFC or Nando's, wherever he's working, I think Makayev would have been a terrible matchup for Pantoja. Simply because there's only one man that has more fucking plot armor than Pantoja, and that's a Dagestani. And I think Makayev had every tool necessary to lose 4 rounds to Pantoja and fluke a submission in round 5. But right now, in the UFC, I think Tatsuro Taira is the guy. Let's move on to the Bantamweight division. Dude, imagine picking me to lose, dude. Listen, you guys know that I am a huge Sean O'Malley glazer, alright? You guys know that I'm pushing this O'Malley as the Bantamweight GOAT agenda, and I'm going to be pushing it real fucking hard, dude. I'm going to be pushing the fuck out of this agenda when he KOs Merab in the Sphere. But who do I think is going to be the man to beat Sean O'Malley? I just spoke briefly about the Dagestani plot armor. I think it's going to be Umar Nurmagomedov, bro. I think if Coach Khabib is in this guy's fucking corner, I just can't pick against him. I can't do it. I picked him to beat Corey Sandhagen. I said he would outstrike Corey Sandhagen. The madman actually fucking did it. And now it's true. Because the thing about Sean O'Malley is we're sending the wrong guys at him, right? We're sending guys after him that, you know, maybe can strike really well but can't grapple consistently enough or are big and strong enough in the grappling to hold him down like Petr Yan. We're sending guys at him that can grapple but can't strike like Aljo and Merab. we're sending guys at him that can't do either of those things, like Chito Vera. I think if you send in Umar Nurmagomedov, who can competently strike an out-beaker and test-tubed Corey Sandhagen and sent him back to Trevor Whitman, right? He can grapple like a motherfucker because he's from Team Khabib. I think he is just a nightmare matchup for Sean O'Malley in the bantamweight division. And I think that even if it's a competitive and close fight, you know who's getting scored that shit. I would love to see Dana White try and fucking decide who to glaze more in this build-up, and especially the judges, right? Because they love Umar, they love O'Malley. I'd love to see how that goes, but I think outside of him getting dropped by, you know, Jason Almacan or whatever that kid's name was from fucking Baghdad or wherever he was from, the dude in the blue shorts that dropped Umar. Unless O'Malley just flatlines this dude, I think Umar is going to be the guy to beat him, and it's probably going to be a competitive matchup. But I just feel like as it goes longer, the double threat of Umar Nurmagomedov is just so high level, and we're seeing it improve every single fight. I wish he fought just one or two more ranked contenders before he gets a title shot, just so O'Malley can get cemented as the bantamweight GOAT before he loses to Umar. But yeah, I think Umar's going to get the next title shot, and I think he's going to beat Sean O'Malley. All right, let's move on to the featherweight division. Now, this is a tough one, bro. This is a tough one. I know that you guys know, obviously, I'm not a big Ilia Topuria fan. I can't stand the guy. But it's mainly his fans that I can't stand. But listen, dude, I got to be real here. If Max Holloway can't beat him, I really can't see anybody in the division that beats him right now. All right, so I'm going to say Max Holloway will beat Ilia Topuria by decision. I think he's going to use his kicks. I think his defense has improved. His power has improved. His frame's going to be big enough and long enough to cause trouble for Ilia Topuria. And I think that outside of the grappling and the calf kicks of Topuria, I think that the boxing is not going to be as effective as people think. I don't see him chinning Max Holloway. I think he will be able to land good shots, but I don't think he'll finish Holloway. I don't think Holloway finishes Topuria either, obviously. But I just feel like the versatility of Max's striking with the knees and the elbows and the kicks at range, the head kick, the spinning back kick is a real weapon against Topuria's style. I think Max Holloway is the guy to do it. But if he loses, we're looking down the rankings. We got slim fucking pickings, dude. We're looking at Josh Emmett rematches here. We're looking at Brian Ortega coming in, swooping in to fluke up a win. I think outside of Max Holloway, who I'm going to pick here as the guy who will beat Topuria, and they'll probably have like a trilogy for the belt, or maybe he'll have to defend against Volk first, but I don't think they'll do that. I think if Max Holloway beats Topuria, they're going to just do a rematch and they'll probably go to Spain for it, which sounds cool, honest. I wouldn't be mad at that. But if Topuria beats Max Holloway, it's probably by decision. And I think outside of Max, like Volk's going to fight him next. Probably he's not beating Topuria. I'm sorry to say this, like Volk is not beating Topuria. I think maybe he can make it to round 3 or 4 this time. Maybe lose a decision, but if he takes enough time off, maybe he loses a decision to Topuria. But I just think that matchup is just kind of cooked. Like, this is like a rock, paper, scissors thing, in my opinion. The only other guy I would maybe say has a chance is Movsar Evloev. And we're talking about real, like, dictator matchups here between Topuria and fucking Evloev. That is when the division is dead. When the division officially ends, when I have to choose between rooting for Ilia Topuria and Movsar Evloev in a title fight. That's when I know this division is fucking done for. But right now, I think Max Holloway is the guy. You know, it is what it is, brother. Hey, we're going to find out Saturday night, brother. It is what it is, brother. Let's move on to the lightweight division. You saw the thumbnail. You know exactly what agenda I'm pushing. Arman Tsarukyan is going to beat Islam Makhachev in the rematch. I believe in this Leon Edwards Kamaru Usman storyline between Islam and Arman. I believe that Arman Tsarukyan is the guy to do it. I think he's going to be the man who not only is able to stop the grappling of Islam Makhachev, he's going to out-scramble him and out-wrestle him in round 1, 2, maybe clutches up in round 5. I think he'll have some moments where he slows down a little bit, but even then, his striking has improved. He outstruck Charles Oliveira, outboxed him pretty cleanly. Same, Islam did the same, but still, I think Arman's a little bit more, I'm not going to say clean with it, but we've seen like Islam Makhachev get a bit wobbled in fights. We've seen him get kind of like cut up and damaged a little bit more than we've seen Arman Tsarukyan. And I know that Tsarukyan hasn't fought the same level of competition the entire time. But at the same time, when I watch him strike, I think he's very explosive. His boxing is really good. His jab was working really well against Charles Oliveira. Charles do Bronx, our biggest champion. The champion's her name, brother. Number 2 contender, brother. You know what I'm saying? But listen, bro. I think Arman Tsarukyan has the boxing. I think he has the zestiness that you need to be a top contender. Look at Jones. Look at Izzy. Look at O'Malley. Look at Topurio. You need to be a little bit zesty to be a top contender. And I think that Arman Tsarukyan has that thing, bro. And I feel like the storyline of him and Islam, you know, being on short notice, he did so well in that matchup. Considering how good Islam has always been, and considering the notice in that matchup. And Arman Tsarukyan has genuinely improved and changed his style since that fight. Islam Makhachev has as well, but not as drastically. Like, Arman Tsarukyan became a dead-ass, like, #1 contender, able to beat Charles Oliveira and out-damage him, survive on the ground with him. I don't think the submission threat will be as big of a problem, which is what a lot of people point to as why they think he lost to Charles. Has nothing to do with them loving Charles Oliveira. People with a Charles Oliveira profile picture will try and tell you, genuinely unbiased, that Charles won. I wonder why you fucking think that, dude. But listen, man. I think that the submission threat is a big problem. I think power in the boxing is a problem for Arman Tsarukyan, but I don't know if Islam is like a one-hitter quitter type of boxer. And yeah, I think that Islam is the guy. Sorry, Arman is the guy to beat Islam. I'm going to say that again before I move on. He's going to beat him in the grappling. He's going to beat him in the striking. He's going to beat him in the wrestling. I think it's going to be a very competitive matchup, but I believe Arman Tsarukyan is the guy to do it. He's next up at lightweight, man. Let's move on to the welterweight division. Now, this is a hard one because obviously, unbiased, I think Belal Muhammad's going to retire undefeated as the welterweight GOAT. But if I have to say who I think is the man to beat him at 170, a lot of people are obviously on the Shavkat train, and I'm not saying Shavkat can't beat Belal Muhammad. I've just been thinking about it for a little bit longer lately, and I feel like Belal Muhammad would actually be a really bad matchup for Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's very hard to finish. Pause. He's improved. Like, he hasn't been chinned in a very long time, and I feel like we can finally let the Jeff Neal fight rest. We can finally just let that shit rest, like Iron Man, dude. We can let it rest, bro. That was like 7 years ago, bro. I think we can move on from that and accept that Belal Muhammad does actually have a good chin. He does push a high pace. He does have decent boxing, at least that he makes work for him. You know, hands like Canelo, bro. I'm literally better than Canelo, bro. Literally, bro. Right? He's nearly impossible to take down, dude. Leon Edwards was able to take him down, but Leon Edwards can take down any good wrestler once or twice. Except Shavkat Rakhmonov, not as good at wrestling as Leon Edwards. I'm going to say that right now. He's bigger and stronger, but he's not as talented as Leon Edwards. I think he's more likely to get a finish if he does take down Belal Muhammad, but I think it's going to be harder for him to take down Belal Muhammad. I think the clinch will be very dangerous, but his head movement, we haven't seen him go long in fights. We've seen him push a pretty high pace. I'd like to see Shavkat in a 5-rounder before he fights Belal, but I'm going to say the man to beat Belal Muhammad is JDM. Now, listen. I just said the Charles fans are biased. I'm very biased. But I believe that I'm allowed to. He's actually goated. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, man. I just have to be honest. JDM is like Leon Edwards if he was ginger and he had heart and he was trying to finish the fight. JDM has the exact same badges as Prime Leon equipped. Fluky Flukester, gold Hall of Fame badges for that one, bro. You know what I'm saying? Scrambler, Hall of Fame scrambler. This guy gets taken down, smudged, he'll find a way to get back up. Just like I said before, the difference between him and Leon Edwards is they have similar kind of frames. I would say JDM hits harder in the boxing, which is going to be primarily what happens against Belal Muhammad outside of the body kicks, and I think JDM's going to be fine at just blocking those with his arms. So primarily boxing, I think JDM schools Belal Muhammad. He's going to be able to tag him up on the feet. Even if he doesn't finish him or hurt him on the feet, he's going to be able to outbox him, use head movement better than Shavkat Rakhmonov can, better than Leon Edwards can. When he gets taken down, he is good at getting back up. He is good at nullifying like people trying to submit him. He has good submission defense. Improving on his fight IQ, I think that'd be the biggest weakness against Belal Muhammad would be the clear gap in game planning and fight IQ. Bilal Muhammad is a very high level strategist. JDM just I'm just coming out to fucking knock you out, Like, there's a big difference in their IQs. But if JDM does successfully scramble with Bilal Muhammad and end up on top, he's not trying to get perfect position against Bilal Muhammad. He's just going to rain down fucking elbows until he goes to sleep or gets back up. So I think JDM has the wildness, the power, scrambling abilities, the size, defensive jiu-jitsu. I think he has everything you need to beat Bilal Muhammad, and I believe he's going to be the guy to do it. I don't think it's going to be Shavkat. I think maybe Shavkat loses to Bilal Muhammad a close decision, and then JDM beats Bilal. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of options. I think eventually we will get JDM versus Shavkat for the belt. I do want to say that. I think both of those guys will be UFC champions, but I think JDM is the guy that's most prepared, in my opinion, with activity as well, right? Depending how long he comes back from this injury. But Shavkat's been out since fucking December last year. I think JDM is going to be the guy to do it. That's my pick at welterweight. I know you're not going to agree with me, but that's my pick. Let's move on to the middleweight division. Now, again, this is another generational GOAT of the division. Like, Dricus du Plessis. Mate, I didn't say I'm better than Silva. I just said I'm the GOAT of middleweight. Totally fucking different, mate. Okay? How are you supposed to beat Dricus du Plessis? I've been thinking about that, talking about this video in my head. I've been thinking, all right, how do I beat this guy? You can't send a grappler who can't strike with no cardio at him. You can't send Brunson at him. You can't send Robert Whittaker at him because he doesn't have a good enough chin, right? And he has no finishing potential whatsoever, grappling or striking. Like, unless you're Ikram Aliskerov, he's not going to finish you. You can't send Izzy at him because he's getting slow and can't stuff takedowns as well anymore. You have to send someone in my opinion, to beat Dricus du Plessis, you have to send someone at him who can take him down, because we've seen him get out-grappled by Derek Brunson. We've seen him taken down by Robert Whittaker. You have to send somebody who can make him get kind of wild on the feet, which will open up takedowns. So someone that may be a little bit chinny, but has decent power enough to rock people. And honestly, you have to consider the biggest factor, which is the chromosome count and the cardio. I think Brendan Allen is the fucking guy to do it, bro. I think Brendan Allen is the guy who can beat Dricus du Plessis. It's either Hamzat or Brendan Allen, and I think Hamzat's cardio is cooked. I think Hamzat in round 3 is slowing down against Dricus du Plessis and getting his takedown stuff and getting beat up on the feet. I think Brendan Allen is just... There's a word I want to use to describe him, but I'm not going to use it. But he is just enough of that. He's got a touch of it to just plod forward and just maraud his way through Dricus's striking. Not trying to out-technique him. There's no point, right? And if he gets Dricus down, I believe he can get a submission. He is actually a very good grappler. He's a very nasty grappler. And if Dricus makes the dumb mistakes that he makes early on, I think Brendan Allen is the type of guy that can actually capitalize on that. And I can just see, outside of the chrome for chrome theory, which I think there's something to that. I think that's a real thing, right? You have to be able to go chrome for chrome. But I can just picture the Brendan Allen sits down at the post-fight press conference with his goofy little hat on, like he's Shavkat, and just cuts an auraless promo about who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Who's doubting me now? I can just see it. I think this theory is genius. I'm going to keep going with this. I believe in the Brendan Allen chrome for chrome theory. I think he's the guy to beat Dricus du Plessis. I know it makes no fucking sense, but neither does Dricus beating Whittaker and Adesanya dominantly, and Strickland. I don't think Strickland's going to be able to do it. I think Strickland's going to... Time has passed to beat Dricus. I think he borderline did in the first fight, but I think Dricus has more adjustments he can make in the rematch, which makes me think he'll probably win it. Whereas Brendan Allen... We're throwing logic out the window. We're just throwing chromes at Dricus. I think Brendan Allen's the guy. Let's move on to the light heavyweight division. I did not think this day would come, but I'm about to say it, dude. Not only do I think this guy genuinely is a bad matchup for Alex Pereira, and I think he's going to beat him, I'm hoping he beats Alex Pereira. I'm rooting for Magomed Ankalaev. I'm going to say this right now. I was wrong about UFC 307 in terms of saying, oh, it looks like Alex is ducking. He explained that he asked for Ankalaev. Ankalaev said no. He's got a fight booked in Abu Dhabi. He wants to fight in Abu Dhabi. Okay, Ankalaev is dumb for that. He's wrong for that. Pereira was not ducking him on that occasion. But then this fucking guy goes on Instagram and says he's moving down to 185 to fight Dricus du Plessis next, regardless, win or lose against Khalil Roundtree Jr. And I'm sorry to say this again.
Dude, Khalil I don't know, man. Khalil's a problem, man. He beats people like they stole something.
He is getting slumped by Alex Pereira. But regardless, all that aside, I think Ankalaev's gonna beat him, dude. I think you can only avoid... I was gonna say King Unk just to piss people off, but it's so cringe. You can only avoid Ankalaev for so long, dude. I actually think he beats Pereira now. I think the storyline is cooking up right now, dude. I think Magomed Ankalaev, not only did he do worse against Jan Blachowicz than Alex Pereira in their fight, but he also somehow did better than Alex Pereira did. That was a close-ass fight that Alex had with Jan Blachowicz. Magomed Ankalaev, he started pretty slow. He didn't wrestle early enough. That's a mistake he probably won't make again against Alex Pereira. But when he turned it on, he 10-8'd Jan Blachowicz. He dominated him in the grapple. And I feel like seeing that happen, you have to be able to picture him doing the same to Alex Pereira, who has been taken down by Yuri Prohaska, Jan Blachowicz. Pretty sure fucking Israel Adesanya dominated him in the grappling as well. That's not a good look. I think Magomed Ankalaev is the guy to do it at light heavyweight. I do like Rakic's chances as well. In terms of pure matchup ability, like he can wrestle, he can check leg kicks, he has nasty leg kicks, but I know Pereira would chin him. I know that would happen. I think Ankalaev's the guy to do it. And like I said, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually rooting for Magomed Ankalaev in that matchup. Simply because of that shit. Talking about going to 185. He might be trolling, but dude, when Dana White starts glazing you, I'm going to start turning against you. I'm not going to lie, dude. Dude, that kid is badass. He wants to go down to 170 and fight Bilal. Yeah, Pereira's a bat. We're going to book Bilal versus Pereira. If Pereira misses weight, he's going to get a bonus. That kid is bad. Did you guys see that promo I made about John Jones? That's badass, dude. Dude, Magomed Ankalaev's the GOAT. All right, last one to talk about, heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion. He's the champion of this division that defends the belt and fights the top contenders. So I'm going to be talking about who I think is going to be the guy that can beat Tom Aspinall. And not going to lie to you, bro. I don't know if that person exists. I don't know if there's a single heavyweight I would genuinely pick to beat Tom Aspinall. So this is kind of like a shot in the dark. Like, this is just kind of a, if I have to pick somebody right now, this is who I'd pick. I'm not saying this will happen like the other ones. If I have to pick somebody for Tom Aspinall, I think Cyril Gane is probably the best bet. Am I crazy that Cyril Gane's the best bet for this? He's probably the only guy that can match the athleticism of Tom Aspinall. Like, he can match the speed. He's a good striker. He can leg kick. And I feel like if he has the clear striking advantage against Tom Aspinall, which we know he does, and Aspinall's ability to mix up striking and wrestling is kind of diminished, it might be easier for Cyril Gane to stuff the takedowns, because we saw against Sergey Spivak. I'm not comparing Tom Aspinall to Sergey Spivak. Let me just make that very clear. You know, Sergey Spivak, he's a great fighter. Don't fucking compare me to him. I'm just saying that if you don't have the striking threat, it's going to be harder for you to take down Cyril Gane. And if you feel like he is the better striker and you kind of succumb to that, it might be possible that Cyril Gane can make something happen. But even then, I wouldn't pick him to beat Tom Aspinall. If I had to pick who it would be, it's either Cyril Gane or Curtis Blades in the trilogy. That is my pick for the heavyweight division. But let me know down below, guys. Who do you think is the next champion in every single weight class? Who do you think is the nightmare matchup for the current champion? Let me know your opinions on my video down below in the comments. Make sure you drop a like if you're enjoying the videos. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I will be back on stream after my fight. And I'll be back next week with a bingo card. So stay tuned for that. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. I will see you guys in the next video, man. I gotta go cut some weight. Goodbye.